Right, Sports Lens are back with Carl Froch for the second time, round 2, the rematch.
The Cobra, he missed out the Cobra.
The Cobra, the Hall of Famer himself.
Hall of Famer as well, he's brought the ring in.
The ring on today, he's brought the bling with him. How have you been, first of all, since we last spoke to you?
Yeah, I've been good, mate, I've been good.
Yeah.
Keep myself fit and well, try to eat as healthy as I can. Obviously when you're on the road or if you're moving around sometimes, you have to accept that 10% of your diet is going to be a load of shite, full of preservatives and additives and all them silly numbers and chemicals.
Yeah.
But I eat as raw and as clean as I can, so I keep myself fit and strong.
Keep you energised.
And I've just been in the gym every day, pumping the old guns.
Yeah.
So I'm in good shape.
Still very good shape.
Feeling good, mate.
You said then, you just mentioned you were at Lee Wood's fight at the weekend.
Absolutely.
Good performance, great finish from him. Although it looked like he was behind on the cards.
Mate, I said it was an epic performance. Sorry to cut you off.
No.
I said it was an epic performance on the night. And actually, it wasn't the best performance, was it? What I meant was, overall with that stoppage, it was a great show, great spectacle. Because let's be honest, he shared the first round, I thought. Then he lost every round. A couple of the rounds were very close, but I just thought he didn't do enough. And Warrington fought an unreal fight. He fought really fought his heart out.
Yeah.
And kind of wound back the clock a little bit. I know he's younger than Lee Wood, he's 32 I think, and Lee Wood's 35. But there's more miles on the Josh Warrington clock, and he's had some tough fights over the years. And the way in which he fights as well, he's a bit of a warrior. He stands in close, has a fight, he's a brawler. He enjoys it, and that's what he did to Lee Wood from the off. And Lee Wood stood in front of him with his chin in the air, which was stupid. So Lee Wood fought the wrong fight. Josh Warrington turned up, wound back the clock, and he made for a very good spectacle. And then obviously Lee Wood did what he did in the was it the seventh round?
Yeah.
What a knockout, what a finish. Because he landed that right hook which clipped on the jaw of Warrington, which put him on unsteady legs. But then he was able to just have a split second between each punch, and I think it was a couple of hooks, finished by one on the way down for good luck. Yeah. And that kind of poise and accuracy only comes with experience. And for me, that Brendan Ingle style of, like the Nassim Hamid style, because he was up there for a few years. And he's got that awkwardness and that kind of patience when he's letting his work go. He doesn't rush anything, he doesn't waste anything.
Yeah, saves
so
his energy.
that was a world-class finish.
It was, wasn't it? Do you think there's any truth in Warrington's complaints about the ref waving it off too quickly?
Listen, if the fight would have gone on, you could say to yourself, yeah, that's fair enough. He might have been gone. I've seen fights go on for less. But I can understand why it was stopped, because the referee kind of took Josh Warrington, the way he walked back to the corner, on really unsteady legs, then hung on the top rope, and he was looking at it's his dad in his corner, isn't it? He was looking down at his corner team. And then when the ref got to 7 or 8 seconds, he turned around and faced the ref. So he did everything he needed to do, apart from convincing the ref, because you've got to look in front of the ref, you've got to look in his eyes and hold your hands up and say, listen, don't stop the fight, I'm all right, I can carry on. And the ref's got to listen to you. But if you've got your back to the ref and the ref's counting, and you've stumbled back to the corner, the ref's thinking, did the ref hear the bell? He should have done, an experienced ref. But just in hindsight, looking at it as it was, I'd have liked to see him sit on his stool for a minute. Powers of recovery of fit athletes are astronomical. I've done it myself. I sat down in the corner after Robin Reed hit with an overhand right in my British title defence, and that was past his best Robin Reed as well, by my own admission. And I was all over the place. I was looking at the corner, I could see my trainer, in my head I was walking in that direction, but I was actually going in the opposite direction. Got back to my corner, sat down, and after that minute rest I was ready to go again, I was recovered. So it would have been nice to give Josh Warrington the chance to come back from that knockdown, being the fact that he was ahead on all the scorecards. I think we're not privy to the scorecard, I don't think we've seen them since, but I mean you can do, so we are privy to them. But it would have been ahead on every card. It was getting into the second half of the fight. So in my opinion, he should have been given a chance. And that kind of soundbite will set Lee Wood up for a good rematch, which I think is his best. Was that your next question?
It was going to be the next question, yeah.
Well,
you've labelled him the next Sheriff of Nottingham. This is kind of the next step for him, a rematch, and then see where he goes after that.
Exactly. There's I think is it Lopez? You might have to name check that in his division, 126, in the featherweight division, who's a tough, strong, younger, fresher operator. And that's a dangerous fight for Lee Wood, especially the fact that he can't make featherweight anymore. Yeah, he's going up. The other option is to go up to super feather, and Joe Cordine is the IBF champ. He's young, very hungry and very capable. Good fighter, Joe Cordine, talented, fit and strong, dangerous. He's with Tony Sims. So for Lee Wood, if he stays where he is, he's already said he can't do featherweight anymore, so that's probably out of the question. So I think rather than go up a weight, and I think he's going to struggle at the weight above him, super feather, stay where he is and maybe try and negotiate a catch weight for a rematch with Josh Warrington. Because for Josh Warrington, that's the big payday.
Yeah.
Lee Wood wants to fight at the Nottingham Forest City ground.
Yeah.
Warrington might say to himself, well, actually, there is titles on the line. WBA, isn't it? WBA regular champion. So I don't know how that'd work. But I don't want to see Lee Wood fight at featherweight again. Mm-hmm. But actually, that's probably what I'll have to do if he fights Warrington. But I'd like to see him go up to a £3 because he does kill himself to do the weight.
Yeah,
he's big. 9 stone is light for a 35-year-old man, however tall you are. And that's why he's struggling.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's where the power kind of has gone. But speaking of another one of his previous opponents, who were we talking about?
Michael Conlon.
No, it was
Laura.
Carl Frampton.
Oh, Frampton, yeah.
Frampton, yeah. Did you see he's come out in the press recently?
Josh Warrington's fought him, not Lee Wood.
Oh, yeah. That's what I mean,
Josh Warrington and Frampton, yeah, they fought.
Right, yeah, I was getting them mixed up. But he came out talking about Daniel Kinahan's firm and MTK and all the kind of controversies surrounding that. But he said he looked after him during his career, so he's kind of seems to be caught in two minds whether to criticise or thank him for what he did for him. What do you feel about the way that boxing is behind the scenes and the way he's kind of come out and spoken about it like that?
Well, I don't know anything about Daniel Kinahan. I know that he was in some way associated with Tyson Fury a few years ago with the old MTK thing. And another friend of mine, Coogan, who does all the YouTube stuff, which is what I'm getting into now. Froch on fighting, don't forget it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, is my honest answer. I've never met anybody from MTK. I don't know what their operation is. I don't know what the relationship was like between... You probably know more than me if you listen to Frampton talk about his relationship with Kinahan. Mm-hmm. Don't know, never met him, don't know anything about the organisation other than that they've got a big interest in boxing. Yeah. They had some interest in Tyson Fury and now it's all finished.
Yeah, that's basically it now. It's just all water under the bridge, but I feel like, there's still a lot to come out, so maybe it's just better to wait and see rather than speculate.
Yeah, exactly, because I've never met anybody from MTK. I've certainly not met Daniel Kinahan. I've seen the
documentary.
I see something on with Baron McGuigan.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Frampton was complaining about McGuigan as well, kind of. He said that there was people taking like money kind of off his expenses and things like that.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, so he was kind of getting hustled without really knowing what was going on. Yeah. So money management's a big thing in boxing.
Absolutely, and he's saying he got hustled by Baron McGuigan. Baron McGuigan, I've got a lot of respect for, fellow Hall of Famer, top fighter, and he was managing, and I don't think he was promoted, but managing Carl Frampton. Mm-hmm. He's saying that he was hustled. Well, life's one big hustle, and we learn by our mistakes, and we grow and we evolve by. When we're involved in controversy or we've come through adversity, it makes us better, stronger and more knowledge. So whatever's happened with his previous associates has happened, it's now done and dusted. And it doesn't sound like he's got a very, very good opinion of McGuigan, but he's worked with him. I've never worked with the McGuigans. I'm a massive fan of Barry McGuigan. I think he's a brilliant fighter. And his son Shane, he's doing a really, really good job boxing, coaching these fighters coming up. Obviously,
quite a divisive character, but in terms of, like you said there, as long as younger fighters can learn from the mistakes of older fighters, then it's a good thing. But we've got KSI fighting Tommy Fury this weekend. KSI is someone that a lot of the younger generation look up to, I think. But I think he's wearing the world's most expensive mouthguard, 40,000 like diamond encrusted mouthguard for this fight.
Nice.
Obviously, you got the ring on there. You like your bling yourself, but in the kind of times of economic crisis, do you think that's a bit insensitive to be just showing off like that, or do you think that's just the name of the game, how boxing is?
Mate, it is what it is. It's not so much even boxing. It's what you can afford. You live to your means. When I was an amateur boxer, I was driving a Ford Fiesta XR2 look-alike. So the 1.4 Sport with pepper pot alloy wheels, Jan Speed exhaust, K&N air filter, bass box in the boot, face-off stereo, because that's all I could afford. Now I drive a Ferrari and a few other cars, because you live to your means. So if KSI wants to spend $40,000 on a mouthpiece, if he can afford it, that's his prerogative. £40,000 to win for a mouthguard is probably about the same as anybody else buying a £300 or £400 mouthguard from a specialised dentist. In terms of what your net worth is and how much that mouthguard's cost you, he's probably spent less because he's worth a fortune, KSI.
He's
so I've got no problem with that. He's earning the money, he's generating the wealth, he can spend it on what he wants.
And
that's my opinion.
Hopefully it might be taken as an inspiration from someone who's looking up to him and being like, I can reach that.
Exactly, yeah, motivation. Look at that, people drive Lambos, and my son's told me he wants a Lambo, and I'm like, why do you want a Lambo? He says, well, if I can afford a Lambo, I've probably got a really nice house, and I've got a really good job and I'm earning a good living. I'm saying, right, okay, now you're on the right path. You don't just want a Lambo, you don't want to live in a council house. You know what I mean?
As long as people are looking to get it by the correct means, you know what I mean, rather than going outside the law to get their
I just think people are too quick to criticise people that got a little bit of wealth.
Yeah.
I've been skint, I had an old paper around, so I realise and understand even now the value of a pound note.
Yeah.
And anybody that's got anything negative to say about people buying frivolous items or material, people that enjoy material items, that's up to them, innit? If they can afford it, then I ain't got a problem with it. A lot of people complain about football players earning so much money. Well, they generate the money, don't they?
Yeah, and look at the amount of tax they pay as well.
Exactly, so they contribute massively to the
economy. Yeah. We've got obviously Tyson Fury's facing Francis Ngannou. Not this weekend, coming weekend after. You think there's a chance that Ngannou's just literally going to embarrass MMA? He's just going to get in the ring and be totally outclassed?
I don't think he'll embarrass MMA because it's not an MMA fight.
True.
Conor McGregor didn't embarrass MMA when he got totally outboxed and outclassed by Floyd Mayweather. And actually, even though I think it's a play fight and a bit of a joke shop fight, which I've made my opinion quite clear on Fury fighting Ngannou. Yeah. It's not real boxing, it's not proper boxing, but I think we're now starting to understand it. I think maybe it was a cunning plan by old Bricktop, aka Frank Warren, in case you don't know what I'm talking about. Because what he's done is he's got this Ngannou fight lined up that boxing purists aren't very happy about, but in the meantime he's announced Tyson Fury's fighting Alexander Usyk for the undisputed unification fight. Exactly. Is it going to be undisputed now? I'm not sure, or unification, because there might be a WBO mandatory. I don't know if I've read it wrong, but hopefully it's still for the undisputed. And if it is, people are going to watch the Ngannou fight with one eye on the state and shape and performance of Tyson Fury, thinking of what's around the corner with Usyk.
There could be a short gap between the two fights. Really.
Yeah, a bit of a master plan genius from Frank Warren, because at the end of the day, Tyson Fury's getting paid. He's probably getting paid his career biggest payday for a move around. And I've said before, I'd have done the same in my career. Someone was going to say, you can go and get your head smashed in by Jean Pascal for X, 5X, or you can go and fight Jake Paul for 10X.
It's got to be done.
The Jake Paul was a warm-up fight for someone like me. Jake Paul couldn't even lace my boots. I won't let Jake Paul lace my boots. He's disrespecting my boots. So I won't let him lace them. So I'd fight him, earn a fortune because of what's going on in the minute in the world. And easy money onto a proper world title fight. And that's what Tyson Fury's doing. It's a solid event that people are going to tune into. But luckily, and good for him and good for Frank Warren, good for boxing, Tyson Fury's announced he's fighting Usyk, because that's very important that fight happens. And I'm still a little bit sceptical that it does happen.
Touch wood, it does, but like you say, you never know till they're in the ring together.
No, exactly.
See what happens. Speaking of other heavyweights, obviously Anthony Joshua is kind of doing a lot of social media interactions at the moment. I saw you said that you were kind of worried about it. Do you think he's showing a bit of the pressure's getting to him by just acting out on social media? What's going on with him?
Oh, were you talking about his recent post in his car?
Singing, doing a bit of karaoke in the car.
I mean, listen, a bit of carpool karaoke, we probably all have a go at that, but we don't film it and put it out to our followers on social media. It is a bit strange for a world title contender or former world champion to be acting out of character, but you can take that as what you want. Maybe he's relaxed, maybe he's chilled, maybe he's just thinking, I'll have a little sing-song, stick it on Instagram. He's entitled to do it, and he's showing his fans actually that he's a real person, which is good to see. But all I'd focus on as a ex-world champion boxer and as somebody who's got a massive interest in the sport still, even though I've retired, I'd be looking at him saying, what's your game plan? What's your motivation, and where are you going now? And his game plan is potentially to fight Deontay Wilder, but that's not happened, it's not been signed. Who's he training with, and he's doing a bit with, I've had a mind blank.
With Tyson Fury's former.
Yeah, he trains Lee Wood. What's his name? Ben, what's his fucking name? I can not remember his name.
You've had a long day, to be fair.
What's his name? He's been at he trained Tyson Fury for ages.
And now he's
Ben. I can't remember his name.
Okay, we'll cut it in.
Yeah, pull his name out. Oh, what is his name? Just Google Lee Wood's trainer. He's training AJ now as well. Doing a bit of AJ.
You said it's a bit of a kind of, it's a bit controversial, the fact that obviously if they do ever fight the fact that he's trained
Yeah.
Tyson, now he's
Yeah.
training AJ, could be
Exactly, yeah.
having little outside the ring secrets.
I can't have his name. I've got Ben Johnson, mate. It's not Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson, no, it's a sprinter, wasn't it? You can't read that from here.
Let's have a look. Davidson.
Oh, okay.
I've got the Ben, I'm the son.
Yeah.
But not the David, I've got John.
And Davidson, yeah.
So
yeah.
Ben Davidson, trainer-wise, I don't know why we're talking about Ben Davidson. Why was we talking about Ben Davidson?
Just because Anthony Joshua, like the way he's
Yeah, that's it, the way he's
So-
conducted himself. But yeah, he might be doing something with Ben Davidson as well. I don't know if he's his main coach or not.
yeah.
But it'd be nice to see AJ back in a fight that's going to be competitive, because he's not been involved in a competitive fight.
No.
His last fight against Helenius
Yeah,
was,
he's been unlucky, to be fair.
I think he struggled. I don't know if he's been unlucky.
Or
to
just
be
having
honest.
opponents fail drug tests and pull out, obviously.
Yeah, I suppose the Dylan White failed drugs test was a bit unlucky.
Yeah.
That would have been a good fight, actually. That would have got him back. So yeah, that was a bit of bad luck. More bad luck for Dylan White.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to see Anthony Joshua back in a meaningful fight, competitive
It
fight.
needs to happen.
I feel like he might be thinking to himself, you know what, I'll sit back and wait until the landscape changes, because Tyson Fury is about finished.
Yeah,
He's
you
towards the end of his career.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he fights Ngannou. He don't fight Ngannou, he moves around with Ngannou. And then he'll fight Usyk, and he'll be finished. That'll be the end of Tyson.
That's it. He'll walk away.
So AJ then will go, right, hang on a minute, what we
Yeah.
got, what's there, what's opened up?
Wilder and Usyk.
Yeah.
That'll be it, really. Yeah.
But
Interesting.
there's a few guys coming through, but yeah, immediately big fights, it'll be Wilder and Usyk. So AJ's banging trouble, whatever happens, I'll be honest.
Yeah. I think so. Speaking of obviously Hall of Famers like yourself, Manny Pacquiao was talking about wanting to
Yeah, I've
come
seen
back
that.
and fight in the
Seen
Olympics, represent Philippines at age 45, I think he is. So, yeah. I mean that shows a lot of hunger and dedication to want to put yourself.
It does.
into
He's
amateur.
always been a countryman, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's very patriotic and he's
Yeah.
loved by his fellow country, men and women.
Politician as well, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Listen, it's within the rules. You're allowed to box now and represent your country, even as you're as an ex-pro. I thought it was like if you only had so many fights, or if you was, I thought 35 years old was the cut-off.
Right.
Obviously not. It must have changed.
Yeah.
But I think he'll get beat. I think he'll lose over 4 rounds.
Yeah.
If it's still 4 2-minute rounds, he'll get beat.
It's not long enough for him.
I don't think so, no.
Yeah.
But you never know. He can work like a machine for 4 rounds. But he's what? Is he 45?
45, yeah. So yeah.
Nearly as old as me.
I was gonna didn't need to say that though, did we? But you're looking in fine form. Could you be tempted back?
Absolutely, but not
Yeah.
for a proper fight.
Yeah,
Just for an exhibition.
Not for nothing Olympics.
Mate, I've got too much respect for professional boxing to jump in there with a pro boxer
Yeah, yeah.
and try and compete at a level that I know I'd need to be at. Unless there was somebody that I thought he's absolutely useless and he's a world champ. And I wouldn't dare or even disrespect anyone and mention any names who I think I could beat in the professional ranks. I retired at 37, I was nearly 37, 4 weeks short of 37, for a reason, and that reason was, the main reason was the desire was gone, but physically it was getting harder and harder. So if it was too hard for me to do 9 years ago, nearly 10 years ago, I'm not stupid enough to think that, I'm not stupid full stop, to think that I could do it now.
Yeah, fair enough.
So no, I wouldn't fight now in a professional boxing capacity, but I would have a boxing play fight with an exhibition with some clown like Jake Paul
Yeah, if the money's
or
there.
KSI.
Jake Paul, yeah, okay.
So one of them clown
What about
performing, one of them performing
Dennis?
clowns.
Dylan Dennis.
Who's that? He sounds
He's
like
the
a
guy who's fighting.
Was he? Is he
Logan
MMA?
Yeah, former MMA or kickboxer. Was he kickboxer?
Well,
yeah.
give him his kudos. I won't give him any stick.
No.
But the YouTubers.
He's been trolling brutally. His missus, Nina Agdor. Have you seen?
Yeah, I've
that?
heard that. Yeah, I've heard that.
You think
I've
he's
read
taking
that.
it too far? What do you do if
Mate,
someone's doing that to you?
Listen, it's whatever sells, and if he thinks that sells and it creates interest, which it obviously has,
Yeah.
and he's going to get him paid, I can see why he's doing it. If somebody did that to my missus, if I'm honest, I'd crack up laughing. I'd laugh my head off.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny.
Yeah.
Because I've got a real light-hearted thing. If someone wants to try and abuse my missus and say whatever they're saying, I mean, I think the situation, was he with his missus before?
No, I don't think so. I
Just
think
given
he's
a stick?
I think he's just got all these photos of her.
Yeah.
Like he's taken from her former, I don't know, ex-boyfriends and stuff, maybe, and social media, and he's just putting them all out there. So I think.
How lewd are the photos?
I think some of them have been like edited, so it's taken it to. Like,
Yeah, I think it's funny. Listen, I've got to be honest. If somebody took a picture of my missus and doctored it and did it to take the piss out of me, I'd laugh at it.
Fair enough.
I'd laugh.
That's probably the best.
I'd laugh at it
the
because if
healthiest
you take it personally, you get upset.
Yeah.
The guy doing it's won. So if he gets pissed off, then that's good work, isn't it? By who's doing it? Dylan Dennis.
Yeah. So
So I think it's funny, and I'd let my wife have a go. If she wanted to respond, which she probably wouldn't, and I don't think the woman should get involved. And I think what I'd do is I'd just make him pay in the ring.
Exactly, yeah.
To just like, you've done that, you've took the piss. I'm laughing about it because I'm genuinely not bothered.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know what his missus done, what she's been involved with, what her history is. But if it's my wife, I know there's no history, she's not done anything wrong. She used to be a bikini model, so they might do some doctor pictures of that. And I'd say, yeah, she looks good, doesn't she? I'd laugh at my missus and say, get over it. And then I'd get in the ring and smash his head in.
Yeah,
everyone's a winner. That's what I'd do. Yeah, I won't start getting personal and start getting pissed off about it.
You said you reckon Tyson Fury might walk away from boxing after these next 2 fights.
Potentially.
Do you think Conor McGregor has in his mind walked away from MMA, or do you
I think so.
He should come back and you know, exhibition fight?
I think Conor McGregor realises now that he's past his best, and he can still generate wealth, but I don't think in the competitive MMA octagon or cage, what do they call it? I don't think he wants to be stepping in and trying to. He's got nothing to prove. Yeah. Let's be honest. He's a legend. He's a legend. He's a legend of the game. He's made enough coin. So if he retires now officially and walks, he's not officially retired, is he?
No, he still thinks he might fight in December, what he was saying.
So if he fights in December and he fancies, got the hunger and desire for it, then my advice to him would be to don't bother unless the opponent's been really wisely selected. But I ain't got a problem with it. Yeah. I think he's. I've got a lot of admiration for him. I give him stick and talk about this, and we had this little back and forth about me fighting him, because he can't box, can he? No. So if he tried to box me, he'd get absolutely hammered. But there's nothing personal; it's just factual. No. But yeah, I've got nothing against him.
Speaking of moving away from boxing slightly, obviously you've seen Russell Brand getting pilloried in the press, but you know, hasn't really had the chance to defend himself.
No, exactly.
I think, probably share a few similar views to some extent. As someone who's a free thinker, what do you think about the way that the press have been so quick to judge him, and he hasn't had a chance to respond yet? Do you think this is just the way that the media deals with these situations these days?
Well, it obviously is when there's somebody that they're targeting, and I think it's disgusting, and I think he needs his due process. He needs his day in court. I don't know what he's done or if he's done anything at all, but the judicial system in this country means that you get a fair trial. So until he's been through due process, i.e. arrested, charged or not charged, then have his day in court, where a judge and a jury can make their mind up. If he's done something wrong, he needs to be convicted or punished. If he's not, he needs to be let off and go back to his business and get away with a false accusation. But to be trialed by MSM, mainstream media, and convicted by social media is ludicrous, disgusting, it's defamatory, and I think that we should have learnt lessons from people like, what's his name, the old boy singer.
Oh, Cliff Richard?
Cliff Richard, thank you. Sir Cliff Richard.
Sir Cliff Richard,
yeah. Didn't they have him down as a nonce?
Yeah, they raided his house, didn't they?
Well, there you go. Done nothing wrong, but the stigma's attached. So Russell Brand is being unfairly treated in a country where we've got a judicial system that actually works. Yeah. And it does make you wonder and think, and I'm not going to dig my heels in and stand by it, but it does make you wonder, and it makes you think to yourself, well, everything that he's saying, Russell Brand is quoting that the reason he's being attacked is because of his views that are totally opposite to the current mainstream media's views, and he's, in his opinion, talking facts, only pointing out factual information on controversial subjects like pandemics, like wars and government policies. Yeah. He's pointing out factual information because he only talks facts because he has to, because he's on YouTube, and
economic
he seems to be rattling a few cages and upsetting people. So it does make you think, actually, is he being targeted and unfairly attacked? And if he is, and I'm not saying he is, I'm just saying if he is, it's out of order, and he needs to be given his day in court. He needs to be going through a due process, because it's frightening when you think about how they can target somebody without any actual proven evidence,
and he's had his,
and still demonetise you and deplatform you and ruin your name. Yeah. How can that happen in a free country? It's very, very concerning, to say the least.
In terms of the world, the way things are going, 2024 is coming up. Have you got any predictions for what might be happening in terms of governments, or I know you're someone who likes to read outside the lines, think outside the box. Have you got any predictions for 2024?
I didn't mean predictions though. Like
In terms of things, governments being overthrown, potentially, kind of, we've seen some crazy things in recent times. Another pandemic.
well, they're talking about another pandemic, another lockdowns, and they're actually telling us there's going to be another lockdown, another pandemic.
Planting the
and
seed,
there's laws being passed that we're not privy to. We don't get notified on mainstream media because they choose to not report them. But there's laws being passed to stop our ability to speak freely. Right now, there's laws being passed. Don't know the details specifically of the laws that are being passed, but if you go against the mainstream media narrative on whatever subject that they're pushing, there's laws in place to say that you can now go to jail.
That's concerning, obviously.
And you look at that and you say, well, what happened to free speech? We should have the ability to think and speak freely. Otherwise, we're heading towards communism.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't live in a communist country.
No, fortunately.
We live in apparently a free country where the government's supposed to work for us. We pay our taxes, we pay and fund the government. We should know everything about the government. They shouldn't know everything about us. But it seems to work the opposite way.
Yeah.
We pay them, we pay into the system, we fund the government, we get told A, B and C, and if we challenge it, because we may or may not believe it, then we could be in trouble. I think it's dangerous.
Yeah.
And it's quite frightening if you've got children.
Highly. Well, I see on the news at the moment, obviously, what's happening in Gaza and Israel, some very terrifying times. And maybe, like you say, the mainstream media paints it in a certain way, but who knows what's really happening is concerning times.
I think you always have to be a critical thinker. You have to think critically, do your own research, and trust and believe nobody until you've done your own research and your own due diligence and just checked out what you're reading. It's really important.
On a more light-hearted note, you've been following Nottingham Forest's fortunes this season?
They've got draw, win.
Yeah.
They're doing well. They're 15 and 14 in the table, doing all right.
Doing bad.
Did well to stay up in the Premier League.
Yeah. Need a few more goals, probably. If you could sign any players for Nottingham Forest in January, obviously realistically, push for a European place, is there anyone you'd have your eye on?
Mate, I don't.
You don't follow that closely?
I don't know football enough to give you any names.
Okay, fair.
Ronaldo's still doing well. Let's get him over here.
Yeah.
He can still put goals away, can't he?
Get Ronaldo down to the.
It's about a good man knowledge. I
Yeah.
can't believe he's still playing actually, but he is, isn't he?
He's out in Saudi Arabia, Saudi Pro League, banging them in.
Proper dough.
Yeah, big money.
Like he needs it.
All right, and you were here tonight for the Boxing Writers Awards.
Boxing Writers, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. You know what? I usually swerve the British Boxing Board of Control Awards just because when I was fighting, I couldn't be bothered. And then since retiring, I couldn't be bothered. And now I'm getting a bit older and a bit more mature and realising that actually these guys put all their time and effort. So I was invited by a guy called Jeff Powell from the Daily Mail.
Okay.
And I've been mates with him for years. He's a real good boxing writer. And Colin Hart, who you probably know, he's been around for years from the Sun, old boy in his 70s.
Yeah.
And when these guys are phoning him up saying, oh, do you want to come to the Boxing Writers? I'd love you to be my guest. And then Colin rings me and I said, oh, Jeff Powell's already asked me and I'm mates with Jeff, so I'm going to go. I just thought, you know what, because I'm world champion, 4-time world champion, Hall of Famer, legend of the game, got my own channel, Froch on Fighting. Because of all these things, I just think it's important for me to give back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm here tonight for the Boxing Writers Do, and I'm going to play my part. I might even get up and say a few words, shake a few hands, do a few pictures, promote it, and there'll be some young boys and girls there that'll be inspired by me because of what I've done. And I'll give my words of wisdom, and it's nice to give a bit back. Because like I said earlier, usually I would leave it alone. I've had to jump on a train from London, come down here, stop in the hotel tonight. I've got 3 kids at home, wanting to see me in the morning, but they're going to miss me because I'm always at home. They will say, where are you going, what are you doing, why are you out there? What's going on? I'm like, most people work 9 to 5 every day and go away at the weekends. I said, I'm home all the time.
Yeah, you're the opposite.
And my daughter's like crying, like, don't go. I'm like, I'm going. So I'm just a full-on, hands-on dad. I love my kiddies, but every now and again I get out and do a bit of work. I did the Lee Wood fight last week.
Yeah, it's going to be televised tonight, do you know?
I'm not sure actually, there'll be bits on social media. Everything that's interesting is televised, whether it's on the fake news channels or on the digital platforms.
It'll be there somewhere.
It'll be on there, yeah. It'll be on my channel.
Exactly, that's where you can see what's happening tonight.
Froch on Fighting it'll be on. Don't miss it.
All right, Carl Froch, have a good one tonight.
Are we doing already?
No,
pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cheers
for that.